Generation Z, Gen Z. This might be your first time hearing about the word. I doubt it is. We come across this word almost every day. We've seen it in blog posts, memes, scrolling through social media. There's the whole millennials versus Gen Z skits that goes around the internet once in a while. We use the term a lot, but do we really know what this word means? Do we know who Gen Zs are? I'm here for you to explain this demographic cohort. Maybe you find yourself in the same WhatsApp group as Felicia and Presley.
I don't know what Generation Z means. And I'm trying not to Google answers and give. I'm just trying to give real answers. I don't know what the term means. I guess Gen Z are people born in a particular time period. I want to say the 2000s. But I really don't know what that Z stands for.
From what I have heard, Generation J means people who were born in when technology was at its best. People who were born between 1997 to 2012. And if I'm being honest, I just researched that because I really don't know what it meant. I just researched that before even the word Gen Z. You were the one who gave me what it really was again. So I was like, what was that? What does that even mean? So it was really nothing to me until I found out. Oh, so me too. I'm a Gen Z guy, huh? And what really came to mind was Gen Z was like, oh, Dragon Ball Z.
Felicia is a student of Ignition University, Okada, and Presley is also a student of the University of Benin. They are both contributors of this podcast. You get to hear voices of other Gen Zs giving their opinions about certain topics of the podcast.
Gen Z is basically reaching adulthood in the 21st century, second decade, your 20s in the 21st century. It's kind of different in this our century. Everything is modernized, everything is a bit extra, you get, but it's our time, so that's what Generation Z is all about.
I know. Bethel is an old time friend. We're secondary school classmates. She's a student of the university, Ambrosali University, Ekboma. Whatever WhatsApp group you may find yourself, I am here to explain and tell you what you need to know about the term Generation Z. So just sit back and get ready to learn. Are you ready to get answers? Let's get answers. Thank you and welcome to the very first episode of my podcast, Answers for Gen Z. I am your host, Osakpọlọ. I'm so excited that I'm finally recording this because I've delayed and procrastinated for quite a while. I'm currently recording. It's past 11 p.m. Well, before I get into today's topic and try to provide answers to the questions in your mind about Generation Z, I thought it would be nice to do a little introduction. prepare your minds on what my pod is all about, the usual introductory episode, tell you a little more about myself and get you familiar with some of the podcast contributors.
Okay, hi, my name is Felicia. I am a pharmacy student. I love God, I love music, and I love food. I'm a Gen Z, and I'm really passionate about helping people out.
My name is Ombolu Presley Chimetem, also known as PPZ's Photo. I'm a photographer, and I'm glad to be here. And well, I am a Gen Z.
Hello, hi, I'm Bandy Bethel, 19-year-old. I am a student of Ambrizali University. I am in the College of Medicine reading medical laboratory science. I am the head host of the Car podcast. Very popular. You need to check it out.
Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Dumebiolo. I work with children affected by conflict, and I cannot wait to hear from you and discuss the new exciting topics. I'm super excited for this with weird questions and whatnot. I think podcasts are like the unscratched doors of radio shows, At least you can be able to say what you feel like, as much as you need to take care of your words, because then again you don't know who's listening to you. But yeah, yay, podcast.
The whole idea for having what I call the Answers for Gen Z contributors came as a result of me wanting the season 1 of this podcast to be initially I didn't want to have any guests for this first season because trying to look for guests, trying to set meeting with guests and all of that, it would clash with my schedule because I'm actually prepping to resume uni next year, so I'm very, very busy. So I thought it would be much more easier for me to have people volunteer to give their opinions, just to make the podcast a little bit more interesting. They get to contribute their opinions through voice notes, and a lot of people volunteered, but after volunteering, I don't know what happened, but only few people actually responded, and they've actually added more flavor to the podcast, and I'm very grateful to them. Basically, Answers for Gen Z is a podcast where I and other people try to provide answers to Gen Z related questions. I mean, I'm a Gen Z, and I for one know how most of the time we have questions bothering us on a wide variety of topics, but most of the time we don't have people to talk to or people to seek help from, and I thought it would be cool to have other people from the same age group that have gone through similar problems or issues, and try to those people get to share their opinions and their experiences, and from there we grow together, we help each other and stuff like that. So that's what Answers for Gen Z is all about. I've always wanted to do stuff like this. I remember in church, yes, teens church, there's this stuff that happens first Sunday of every month. We call it the Variety Sunday. Basically, where teenagers come out and excuse me, share their talents and their gifts and whatnot. So I had a book where I had to discuss topics. The book was Young People Ask Questions, Young People Ask. Yes, it's a Jehovah's Witness book. Yes, so I just took some topics and would want to discuss those questions in the book, but the time was limited and I wasn't quite a good public speaker at that time. So recently I was just thinking, months ago actually, I was thinking on my bed and I was like, now that I'm done with my O-level exams, what's next? What do I do? What do I do with my time? How do I make an impact? And one thing led to another. A Curtis video was involved, and questions young people ask came to my head, and I thought about podcasting. So this all happened in, I think, July, and this is December. And I just made up my mind to start doing this. So I don't know how it's gonna be. I don't know where it's gonna take me, but I want to do it and just see where it goes. So without further ado, let's get into today's topic.
Okay, so what's your my understanding of Gen Z? Honestly, like, how do you actually answer this question? There are very many ways to look at it, but one thing I could say is Gen Z, for one, does not and really gives an F about a lot of things. And the part of does not, I would say that it's a generation that's coming out of a traditional point of view, but at the same time values their tradition. So in the case of when it comes to like marriage, relationships, career, like they come from a point of view of I'm going to follow my dreams, I'm going to do what I want, I'm going to achieve the goals that I set for myself. But then again, they also value their tradition in the sense that we see a lot of content creators today, a lot of teachers, professors, very young professors, who are coming out and saying like this is our tradition, and they teach other states, other communities about their tradition. They use it as a form of theater, to advertise mental health, to talk about sports and whatnot. So I would say they are the complete opposite of what the previous generation was.
So according to my research, which was mostly Wikipedia, Generation Z, Generation Z, Gen Z, Gen Z, whatever you want to call it, or Zoomers. Zoomers was a term that originated back in 2020 because that was a period where the cohorts in the group of people in this cohorts were using Zoom for school and stuff like that. So they are a Western demographic cohort succeeding millennials and preceding Generation Alpha. And that begets the question, who are millennials? If you are not if you're not used to the term Generation Z, you should be used to the term millennials.
Okay, I think millennials are the generation right before the Gen Zs. So, like the people that were born in the 19s. Yeah, I think so. And Gen Zs think that these people are old, but I don't really think so. I think that they are closer to. Anyway, there are a lot of differences between millennials and Gen Zs. I just think that, let me just keep it to who I think they are. They are the people that were born in the 90s, early 90s, 19s to late 19s.
Millennials are people born before, I think, before 1997. Yes, I also researched that. So millennials actually, I think they were the ones who actually saw the growth of technology, social media platform. They actually saw the growth. Gen Z people were like, they were born in it. So but millennials, they were like, they developed these things, they saw the growth, they grow through it.
Who are millennials? Ooh, yeah, yeah. I think people who were born in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Um, do we fall there? When does Gen Z start? I'm not sure whether I'm Gen Z or a millennial. I'm a 90s baby, so I don't know where I'm a mid 90s baby, so I don't know whether I'm both. Millennials, I guess millennials we would say are the people who have opened the doors to creative thinking, personal thinking, and different thinking, because that is when we saw the thing of women going to work, like actually going to work. And which is funny because if you look at the African history, like the true African history, and I mean like pre-colonial history, like our women were not, we were not going through a lot, we were very opinionated, we were working, we were making a living, we were enjoying life with our husband and kids. It wasn't picture perfect, but I wouldn't say that we were going through it, because I mean, if you look at the queens, Queen Zinga, Arawelo, the Dahomey Amazons. I mean, these are people who they existed in the pre-colonial period. And if you look at our lives, and even if we was to stretch further and go to the American side, and you look at women in the pre-civic, civic rights era, like they were actually going to work. They were earning their own living and whatnot, and we can see that in the movies. So if I say millennials are the ones who open doors, maybe I mean they're the ones who brought back that kind of life where they now started saying no to a lot of things. I will go to school and study what I want. I will go to the school that I want. And if you don't support me, it's fine. I will figure out a way to cater for my expenses. If I have to work, I will. I will marry when I want. I will marry who I want. I will marry when I'm ready. And the difference between when I want and who I want, is the fact that when you see when you want, you're probably looking at finances, especially for the man, because at the end of the day, I mean, we all want a man who will take charge of everything, but then when you say when you're ready, you're also looking at yourself. Am I mentally prepared to accommodate someone? Am I happy on my own? you know and if I'm not happy on my own, then how am I expected to be to accommodate someone else? So those are the questions I would say millennials started asking, and then Gen Z just like pushed through it.
Millennials are people born from 1981 to 1986, so they are basically 26 to 41 years of age. They're also known as Gen Y, then Generation Alpha, Generation Alpha are kind of mini Zoomers. I read somewhere that while Generation Z are coming into the workforce, Generation Alpha are beginning to get used to technology and digital stuff. Most of them are usually below the ages of 12. So Generation Z are people born from 2011, 1997 to 2012. Yes, so that is basically ages 10 to 25. So according to Wikipedia, if you are 10 to 25 years of age, you are a Gen Z. If you are 26 to 41 years of age, you are a millennial. If you are 42 to 57, you are Gen X, and I think baby Zoomers are 58 to 76. What are those things characteristic of Gen Zs? Everywhere every article I read, they kept saying one thing, that Gen Zs are digital natives. That was the term. That we are all about technology, social media, and the internet and stuff like that. The thing is, while social media is the main stuff, the main ingredients of what characterizes us as being a member of this demographic cohort, we have different cultures agendas, we have different opinions, we go through a lot, from mental health issues to our lifestyle, risky behaviors, our opinions on family and social life, and even the use of ICT as a Gen Z. Not all Gen Zs can use the internet, truth be told. Not all Gen Zs are even can even understand the whole concept of ICT, even though we are called digital natives. So all throughout the episodes of the podcast, we get to explore these common cultures, health issues, risky behaviors, family and social life, the use of ICT, and many more of that stuff with questions. If you have anything in particular you'd also want me to discuss in the podcast, you can send me a message. Instructions would be on the show notes. You can check the show notes or the description of this episode and you'd see everything there. Follow the instructions there and we'll be good to go. Okay, so I forgot to introduce myself earlier on. My name is Osakpọlọ Ikobasimi. I am from Edo State, Nigeria. I currently live in Edo State, Nigeria, Benin City. I am 21 years old. I'm a student of the University of Benin, studying medical laboratory science. And I'm a singer, songwriter, movie enthusiast. I'm what you call a cinephile. I'm a mellophile too. I'm enthusiastic about music a lot. I love music, I love movies, I love pentatonics. I'm a pentaholic. Shout out to pentaholics listening to me right now. Yeah, I love God. I love things about God. And I find people interesting. I am the type of person that would quietly observe people because I don't really put myself out there when I'm in public, so I'll sit back and observe people before I put myself out there. I'm a pretty interesting person. Some people may call me weird, some people may find me weird or absurd, but I like to think of myself as a maverick. So that's it about me. Yeah. Before I leave, I would like to know, how do you think it is being a Gen Z in Nigeria? I'm Nigerian, so I don't know. How does it feel? What's it about? Honestly and personally, it isn't easy being Gen Z in any part of the world. But if you're Nigerian, how does being a Gen Z, how does it relate with being Gen Z and Nigerian? Yeah. What is it about? Like, how is whatever we face as a Gen Z here in Nigeria, how is it quite different from other issues we people in foreign countries face? So just let me know. Tweet at Answers for Gen Z and let's share our ideas. But a few contributors have their own opinions on that, so let's give it a listen.
Being a Gen Z Nigerian means that you have to see the struggle of life very easily and very fast, and you have to know how to curb these situations when you're a Gen Z. You in Nigeria, everything is automatically hard. So when you reach adulthood at a very young age, this is extreme. Even for adults, this is hard. Don't know talk when you're the young one. You probably might not be, fending for yourself, but you definitely need to know how to spend whatever you're given. So if you do not want to stay hungry, especially if you're in school and all that. In Nigeria, being a Gen Z is a whole vibe, a whole cruise, a whole experience that I don't think you can escape it. You just have to experience it so you can become that, firm and successful or whatever adult you really want to be.
Nigeria itself is a difficult country. We all know. And being a Gen Z in times like this where we have Yahoo and those stuff alone, Yahoo safe alone, in this time, bro, it's like that alone is the number one peer. I believe that is number one peer pressure that is attacking the Gen Z people. That's what I think, the Gen Z generation or whatever. That's that the pressure is too much. And now, obviously, Yahoo is bad. Okay, now, but if you if you look at some perspective, like you see them like driving cars, like the pressure even on me safe, because I won't lie to you, I want cars, I want sporty clean cars, I want to build house, I want hair. So the pressure there to guy, it's crazy seeing your peers like driving. You feel somehow, like you have to feel somehow. That's why the pressure today is insane. And if you look at them, some actually, use that money to help their family. Because if you look at the situation of Nigeria has not really given opportunities to these people. They are not really giving opportunities. Not where you can, okay, there's no excuse for that. There are no opportunities. Even those that try to, like, oh, no, 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 I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna work hard, the pressure, bro, the pressure, especially when your main friend like, yo, come on, let me teach you this stuff. I'm like, no, 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 man. And some of these people they are actually used it to help their family. They use it to change their lives. And if you also look at it in another way, Yahoo has also helped reduce robbery in Nigeria, robberies and theft, all those things. Because normal Nigeria alone, even in Opa, people, that name alone, people are afraid. But now, let me see, nobody has time. Even court people, they don't have time to be going around raising cutlass, because we see that thing on a daily back then. But now they're like, well, when my mates are making money, so that alone took them away from the street. So now you know that it's wrong, but you begin to question some aspect, like, like for instance, there are some people who use it to, build a business, and then use the money to build a business, and actually change their family's life. So when you begin to wonder those kind of things, that alone is like, is it bad? Because it's the society's fault, because now you are questioning it. Is it bad? Is it really, really bad? But if you look at the people who they are stealing this from, they are not happy. But then you begin to wonder.
What does a Gen Z, being a Gen Z in Nigeria mean to me? I mean, it means suffering. It means a lot of people seeing Gen Zs as sports, and really we don't just want stress, and that's like making us suffer more, because there are a lot of people that do not really understand us and really understand our lingua, really understand our struggles. You understand, like, they just I feel like older Nigerians do not know how to deal with us or how to relate with us.
I agree with you when you say older Nigerians don't know how to deal with us. But if I should ask, why do you think that is? Like, why? Why is it so difficult? Is it that does it have something to do with the way they've been brought up, or their own generation, or why? Why do you think?
Ah, it is the difference in, the word is not opinion, but opinion keeps coming to my mind. The difference in ideologies between us and even like the millennials. Like the millennials are kind of closer to Gen Z and can kind of understand or grasp what Gen Zs are saying. But most of the times they're like, don't go against the tide. Like, who do you think you are that you not want to go against the tide of like what Nigerians are all about? And really, this suffering mentality in Nigeria is really huge. It's like Nigerians don't know how to do anything without like hard labor attached to it. Like anything, really. Like to them, I don't know, because they've been doing things the hard way or have been suffering in certain aspects. It's now normal. It's now seen as normal. And then when the Gen Zs that are exposed to the internet and exposed to how things are being done outside in the world, because right from when like we're kids, not all, but the level of technology that they were exposed to is even like a lot more than. And then comparing that with their reality in the environment, it's like they're trying to say, oh, this is wrong, like we shouldn't be doing this way. Then the old people are now like, what do you mean it's wrong? It's not wrong, that's how we've been doing it from time. The millennials are now like, okay, yes, we know it's wrong, we accept that it's wrong, but you will still do it like that, as wrong as it is, whether you like it or not. So I like, it is the difference in ideology. That's why they cannot understand us. That's why they cannot like. It's like they don't know what to do with us. Okay, so for example, now this Sorosoke campaign, because I live in Lagos. So the way people treat young people in Lagos is like people don't have respect. And it's not really like we don't have respect. It's just like we do not allow for see finish. You get, like, you cannot come and do certain things. We would put boundaries, and because we're putting boundaries, it's like you are being stubborn. So during that like campaign, during the whole NSAS thing, I feel like it was really followed by Gen Zs, and then millennials, like that understood, or a lot of millennials like partook in it, and then some part of the older generation before then also like understood where they were coming from. But it's at a point it just seemed like a lot of older people started being all like, you guys are doing too much, this thing is taking too long, especially like when they were always standing in front of the Lekki Bridge and blocking it, and there was like a lot of go slow. So most people that are like going there started going on Twitter and complaining about a bunch of shit that they should not even like be complaining about, because we are here trying to fight for people's freedom, and then you, mama, let me not say their freedom, our freedom, because like they are older, we are the ones that are suffering more. And you're not like telling us that we are blocking the road, Lagos already has traffic and you're putting more traffic, like all this kind of things is like, they don't just, there's a tenacity that we have that they don't get. Not tenacity is the wrong word. What was that word? There's just quality that they don't get, like they don't know what to do with it. They just misinterpret it. They call it stubbornness, they call it being stupid, they call it different things, but like that's not what it is that's not what it is with us. So I feel that there's a very huge communication gap in the ideas, in the way we think and in the way they think. Like there's a gap.
Personally, I agree with Felicia when she says there is a huge communication gap between Gen Zs and millennials or boomers. But whatever the case may be, I think we can all learn to coexist together. And with that, I think I'll call it a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me on the very first episode of Answers for Gen Z. Thank you for being part of this journey. I promise to be more consistent and keep you guys updated with topics and questions that might be bothering you. I have lots of topic lined out for this season. Don't forget to leave a rating, follow, and turn on your podcast notifications so you won't miss the next episode.